house guests, welcome to today's bbcan 9 updates and spoilers. Our house guests of the day are Alex, Garza, and Pine. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so when we left off yesterday, the house guests were having a pretty chill day. I think they were all exhausted from whatever production put them up to the day before. They were like, you know what, let's just relax today. So Austen did start campaigning for herself a little bit. She's telling people I would be a bigger target than Brayden if I were the one to stay. And she says Brayden can play the whole, woe is me, my best friend just got evicted game. And he could get scooped up easily by the other side. And Austen says, if I'm the one to stay, I would have to win competitions in order to keep my spot here. And she's saying, I'm not afraid to make big moves and go after that throuple. All right. Meanwhile, I mentioned yesterday, Brayden is apparently, like, getting up to something with Ty, like, romantically. He was telling Austen that something went down the night before. He didn't want to say too much on the live feeds. I got some more info on that. We're going to talk about that today. All right. So Jen and Ty took some time yesterday to count the balls in the ball pit. They decided the easiest way to do this would be to divide the room into a grid. And then they focused on one section and counted through that section. And then with some simple math, they estimated that there are 360,000 balls in the ball pit. Are there really that many? Like, I'm not saying it's definitely not. Like, what? That seems insane, though. Could that really be true? I don't know. That seems like a ton, but you never know. I don't know. I'd be really curious to know what the actual number is. And it sounds like production's been adding more and more balls gradually, so who knows. But they also, while they were counting, found a black ball. Interesting. I don't know if that has any significance or what. Or if there's more of them, who knows. But I'm sure there will be some sort of a twist coming out of that room at some point. But I think they'll let us know about it before it actually happens. All right. So I mentioned yesterday was kind of like a kumbaya day. They even had a Taco Tuesday family dinner because have-nots are done for the week, apparently, so they can all enjoy it together. So they even went around the table and everybody said something nice about the person to their right. That's nice. But Victoria is not okay with all this kumbaya bull. She is really upset. I mean, she was going on and on about this yesterday. She's really upset that neither of the nominees are really campaigning yet. She's pissed that they haven't really been doing much so far this week. She says it's lazy to wait until Wednesday or Thursday to campaign. It's lazy. She's bored. I think she's bored. But she's like, it's been a day of literal nothingness. And she's complaining about this to anyone who will listen. I think she also was set off by Brayden and Austen not, like, inviting her to go in the hot tub with them. I don't know. She kept talking about that as well. This is a lot. These nominations seem really personal on Victoria's part. And I'm such a huge Vic fan. She's so much fun to watch. But, like, Victoria, get it together. So she was a lot yesterday. And Austen and Brayden picked up on her attitude with them. They definitely knew that something was up. She made some really, like, snappy remarks at them. And they were just like, I don't even know how to handle the situation. Like, what do we even do? So it was awkward. But Roe was doing a little bit of campaigning. He is trying to flip the vote so that Austen will stay because he feels like Austen's going to be better for his game. And you need 4 votes to make something happen this week. So he thinks this is possible with him, Tina, Tara, and Victoria all voting for Austen to stay. But Victoria is the invisible HOH this week, so she's not voting. But Roe is still not accepting that she is the HOH. Plus, even if Victoria wasn't the HOH, like, she wants Austen out. She put Austen up on the block for a reason. She wants her out. So, Tina and Tara seem to agree that keeping Austin would be better for their games as well. So they're on board with this, but they need that fourth vote to make it happen. So Roe campaigned to Victoria, and he's telling her Austin will be a bigger target if she stays than Brayden would. She could be a shield for us. Also, the throuple could very easily pull in Brayden, but they definitely... Why did I write... Oh, they definitely would not be able to pull in Austin. So... things to think about. But Victoria says Austin and Brayden are pretty equal in her eyes. She doesn't really care either way which one goes. That's a lie. She wants Austin out. But she also, of course, made a point of saying, like, I don't like that they haven't campaigned to me yet. Like, this is ridiculous. It's just so ironic, too, because Victoria can't even vote this week, and she's crabbing about them not campaigning to her. Anyway, after Roe walked away, Victoria was like, Roe, I don't have a vote. Okay, so then the throuple had a game chat in the bathroom. Oh boy. So Ty is saying, the three of us need to get our shit together. He says, Beth and Jed, you guys are spending way too much time together, and people are noticing that. They're picking up on it. And just the other day, they were talking about how they can't all be spending time together, and that they need to work on other people. But after that conversation, I felt like they were, like, always together. But anyway, Beth agrees. We all got way too comfortable this week. We're not talking enough game with other people. We need to get it together here. The guys, they all agree that the guys need to spend more time with Victoria. That's part of their whole plan to make people think that the trio is actually Ty, Jed, and Victoria, and not Ty, Jed, and Beth. And Beth says she needs to work on Roe because she wants him to think that she would be willing to split up Ty and Jed if it came down to it. So Ty also mentioned working on Brayden. Oh? Interesting with the information that we got yesterday. We're going to get to that in a minute. But they wonder, has everyone else been talking game this week while we were feeling so comfortable? Like, did we miss out here? They still feel like they're okay for next week. They don't think they're going to be in trouble. They could definitely be in trouble if certain people win HOH. But Ty is getting really nervous about Rohan because he feels like Roe has been hustling the last few days. And he absolutely has. He is trying to reunite the oddballs and make sure if any of them win HOH next week that they will take a shot at the throuple. But they're worried that Roe could get Victoria to flip on them by telling her that she's at the bottom of her alliance with the throuple. That's why, you know, they're trying to put in more FaceTime with her. So they all agree Roe has to go next. But Beth is like, I wish you guys were more worried about Tara. Beth is very worried about Tara. And the guys admit, yeah, we're worried about her too, but not as much as we are about Rohan. I mean, we've seen that. Roe can win competitions. He can do it. Tara has not done great so far, but she is definitely ready to take one of them out if she wins as well. So Beth says Tina never has opinions of her own. She's just quiet whenever Tara's talking. So she feels like Tina would not have as much control over a Tara HOH as she thinks, or as she's telling them she would. Because Tina's been trying to reassure them, like, Tara, you don't have to worry about her if she wins. Like, I've got a lot of sway over what she would do, blah, blah, blah. But it turns out, like, Tina and Tara both want to go after the throuple. So, like, Tina is not on your side. But the throuple feels like at this point, they only really have each other. They can't trust, like, they can't fully trust all these other people that they have deals with. They feel like Kiefer and Victoria would both turn on them if they had the chance. Would they, though? I don't know that that's necessarily true. I feel like Kiefer and Victoria, yes, they would absolutely get rid of Beth. They want to get rid of Beth, 100%. But Ty and Jed, they want to work with long term. So that's something. But they also discuss how Brayden can be their new number 4, since they can't really trust Victoria and Kiefer. So then Beth says to Ty that Brayden has the biggest crush on you ever. Use it. Ew! It was just like the way that she said use it. Ugh. And she's like, he won't go away from that. And Ty says, I know. I've been playing into it. He laughs as he shares that Brayden was kissing his neck the night before. That's so sad. That makes me so sad. Because I'm pretty sure Brayden thinks this is, like, legit. But Ty says, in my head, I'm like, can the camera see this? And they all start laughing their asses off. Oh. So again, Beth says Brayden has the biggest crush on Ty, and they can use that in the game. And she's like, oh, the impression that I'm getting from him is that he's secretly excited that Austin's going to be going so that he can spend more time with Ty. And Ty's like, I know, I'm already on it. So that's what that all was. I'm getting some real Kevin and William flashbacks from season 5. Yikes. Poor Brayden. But anyway, Beth says, we need to have a Final Four with Kiefer. We need to have one with Victoria. And we need to have one with Brayden. Because they feel like those 3 do not talk to each other, so they're not going to compare notes. And they'll be covered, you know, with 3 different people like that. But it's interesting because Beth chatted later with Ty, and I think she ended up talking to Jed about this today as well. She does not want Victoria or Kiefer with them in the Final Four because they're too strong. They're really good at competitions. They would do really well with the final jury vote. She doesn't want them anywhere near that end game. So she thinks it would be much better for them to go to the end with Tina and Brayden because they would be easier to beat. Oh boy. Okay, so then also in this conversation, Beth tells Ty and Jed about that Pink Ladies Alliance with her, Victoria, Tina, and Tara. I mean, we knew that that was not going to stay a secret, right? Obviously, Beth was going to tell the guys about that. I think she's probably mentioned it to them before, but she was telling them a little bit more about it. All right, so after Jed checked in with Tina in the OLG room, I feel like this was kind of like a maintenance chat. They agree that Austin is still going, but like in reality, Tina would prefer Austin stays. But she doesn't admit that to Jed. So Jed is like, I don't know, I think Ro is campaigning for Austin to stay. And Tina's like, oh, is he? She knows he is. She's playing dumb here. But Jed says, it's in our best interest that Austin goes this week. Yeah, for you, not for Tina. But Tina says she's good with that. And again, she's pushing that she has sway over Tara if she wins HOH. So, like, they don't have to worry about it. They're going to be good with her. And she says, I don't think that she would put you and Ty up. Which is, like, sort of potentially true, at least as the initial nominees, because Tara came up with that ridiculous backdoor plan now, where if she won the next HOH, she would put up Brayden and Beth, and then her plan ideally would be to backdoor one of the guys, but if not, then if the veto is not used, then just get rid of Beth. I think that's leaving way too much to chance, right? Don't you just go after the 2 guys, put them both up on the block? But she doesn't want to do that now. All right. So they also talk about how great it would be to have the Sunsetters together at the end. And now we know that it seems like, yeah, they actually would want Tina to be with them because they feel like they can beat her. Maybe not so much Kiefer. But Tina does not want this. Tina does not want to be at the very end with the throuple. No freaking way. And then they were talking about, like, who they would put up if one of them were to win HOH next week. And Tina claims that she would put up Brayden and Ro. This is a decoy. I mean, if she goes along with Tara's plan, I guess she'd put up Brayden and Beth. But I feel like Tina is still thinking more like, we need to go for these guys. All right. So, and of course, she's not going to admit that to Jed's face. All right. So that was last night. And then today, welcome to Waffle Wednesday. Today, it's Tara's turn to get annoyed about the lack of campaigning from the nominees. Ugh. She was talking about it a lot this morning. Excuse me. She was like, why hasn't Brayden talked to me yet? It really freaked her out when Jed said, oh yeah, both of the nominees talked to me. So now she's wondering, is Brayden already in with the other side? You know, why is the other side so set on keeping Brayden? And why did Brayden clearly prioritize talking to the other side before he talked to us? Like, what's going on here? Tina is irritated as well. She does not like this situation. They're trying to figure out if they can get a fourth vote to keep Austin. Because right now, Ro, Tina, and Tara, they're all on board for this. But they need that fourth person. And it's not looking good. They're stuck right now. Kiefer is dead set on Austin going. He's got like a personal thing with her. He doesn't like her. And they're worried if they approach Victoria about flipping this vote and getting rid of Brayden, that Victoria will just run back to the guys and tell them about it. Yes, that would 100% happen. They agree. Victoria cannot be trusted at this point. She's playing all sides. They also suspect, finally, that she is the invisible HOH and she can't vote this week anyway. Also, yes. Okay, so then Austin and Brayden, they're hitting the campaign trail today. I mean, Austin was already doing like a little bit of campaigning, but Brayden wasn't really until today. So Brayden, on the advice from some people, had a chat with Tina and Tara in the Expedia Junior room. Tara says, all right, what concerns me is that Beth is very confident that she has you in her pocket. And Tina says, obviously, if Beth thinks that, that connects to the guys as well, Ty and Jed, which leads us to believe if you won HOH, maybe you'd go after us. So Brayden's like, yeah, I could see how you would think that. But he says if he wins HOH, he's putting up Ty and Jed 100%. He says no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They all agree that the throuple needs to be split up. I really need to see some Brayden diary rooms and figure out like what he's actually thinking. I'm pretty sure he's being honest here and he would still put up Ty and Jed, but I'm not 100% on that. So they chat for a while, but that was like all the important stuff that Tina and Tara needed to hear from Brayden. So after this conversation was over, Tina and Tara chatted alone. They feel like they can trust Brayden. They don't think that he's going to go over to the other side at this point. So they pretty much got what they needed out of that conversation. I'm not saying they like totally want Brayden to stay right now over Austin, but I guess they're kind of thinking like if that's the case, then it's not the end of the world. All right. So then Austin had a chat with Beth in the Expedia Junior room, and we didn't get to see the beginning of this conversation. The feeds joined in after they were already talking. So it sounds like Austin was proposing that Beth flips her vote to keep Austin and just blames it on Kiefer. That would be hilarious. But Austin talks about how Jed and Ty are all over Victoria today, and this is part of the Thruple's plan. They want to be seen with Victoria to try and throw people off and make it seem like they're the tight trio. It's not fooling people. But Beth plays into it. She's like, ugh, I hate it. I hate how they're all over Victoria today. So Austin says, you'll be such a bad bitch if you do this. And Beth says, like, yeah, we'll both be bad bitches. Beth says, I need to think about this. She's so excited. She feels like she's going to throw up. So after this conversation, Austin was literally patting herself on the shoulder. I don't think it went as well as you think. I don't know. I think it definitely did really give Beth something to think about. But if the guys are not on board with it, she's not going to do it. At least I don't think so. But Austin also campaigned to Victoria. Of course, she's saying, like, I'll be a big target in front of you, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't look like this vote flip is happening, though. Like, she was making good points to a lot of people, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. Victoria, Kiefer, Jed, and Ty all still want Austin out. Even though Victoria's not voting, like, she's still got some sway. I don't see Beth going against the guys' wishes if they're not on board with it. So I feel like the most votes that Austin could get at this point would be 3. But you never know what could happen. The eviction's not until tomorrow, so you never know what could happen over the next 24 hours or so. So let me know, what just happened? Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. And until tomorrow, much love.